have his thing. All right. Well, I think we're on. So
Wait, we're live?
about to be, if we're not already.
Okay.
And we are live, I believe, with our first live show. Good evening, everybody. Those watching now, probably nobody watching yet, but maybe in a few minutes. Maybe not, but regardless, this will get archived into the video log, so you can watch this at some point. So, guys, you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
So I will go first. I'm Doug Moore. I am on Twitter at DMooreNFL. I am the host of the Nickel Press Show. And most of you know me because I pissed you off before.
Okay, I'm Tehol Beddict. I'm on Razzball.com writer, and I got asked to join the squad here. And I don't know. I'm just here because Doug really wants me on the show.
He actually begged to come on the show. So
I'm Jeff from the Infirmary Report. I'm at Twitter at EJ Manuel. And then these guys will, I guess, be riding my coattails for the next 18 months or 18 weeks.
Well,
Jeff from the Infirmary Report. I'm at Twitter at EJ Manuel. And then
so we are currently down one
these guys
person.
will,
We are
I
trying
guess,
to
be riding my
locate him.
coattails for the next 18 months.
He may be busy modeling because Tehol can't anymore. So we are currently trying to locate him. That's Payton Sanders. He also writes for the Infirmary Report. As we speak, I am texting him. But this is the first show with all of us together. You've seen some of us do individual videos. Jeff with goats, Tehol with a purple sweatshirt, Andy at various camps and with always a hat on, and me not so much.
Did you do one yet? No?
I have not done one yet. Boo, hiss, I know.
The world is waiting.
I know the world is waiting. I have people outside my door right now waiting for my autograph.
So you still have your video hymen?
So that's what they call not safe for work people. Little kids don't listen. Jeff is a very
medical term.
person.
his hymen.
So tonight, I know that the regular season hasn't started yet. But we're going to just go over some things. I know yesterday was National Draft Day, but there's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to be drafting it. I know I'm just starting to draft. I'm sure that Andy, Jeff, and Tehol are all still drafting. I'm sure that plenty of you are out there. So we're going to give you our expert insight into all the positions, sleepers, people not to draft, people we've liked this preseason. So tune in. If you have any questions, feel free to leave comments at the bottom. As soon as we get them, we'll be answering them. And, it's going to be a great season. So I guess the first thing is that we're 3 weeks into the preseason. It just is actually finishing tonight with the Cardinals and the Raiders. So with that being said, this weekend was the dress rehearsal, where we saw a lot of teams use their starters and sort of been able to grab an impression based off of it. So I thought I would ask first, Jeff, we'll go with you. Jeff, who is somebody that you've seen this preseason that maybe you weren't as high on before, but now you are, and would recommend to people?
I think there's three guys. I love EJ Manuel this year. He's going to break out this year. But I think maybe not so much.
I love the fact that you got. I love the fact that you got Tehol shaking his head like he wants to jump through the screen.
I don't like EJ Manuel. I do. I was actually having a conversation with Andy Peoplespan earlier today about Doug Martin. Just don't call him. Yeah, and I actually like him this year considering where he's going in drafts, 35th in ESPN as far as running backs go, and coming off 2 down seasons, I think people will shy away from him, and certainly they have every reason to because of the offensive line woes the last couple years, but they've completely retooled the offensive line, and they drafted 2 rookies to kind of anchor that, and they have Logan Mankins coming back this year. So, and he's supposed to be on a mission. As far as he's been quoted to say he's on a mission this year to put last year behind him, put it in the rearview mirror, and that he's focused, and hopefully they can open up some holes for Doug Martin. I think they will. I think his receptions will creep back up a little bit to the 2012 numbers, which was his Pro Bowl season. And I think the passing game will be better. I mean, how could it be worse with McCown gone and Winston? He's gonna hit some bumps as rookies do, but I think Doug Martin at his ADP is solid this year for sure.
Yeah, I know you're big on Doug Martin. And I got to say, I'm coming around on him. I mean, it really kind of was a disappointment last year, but
I think the muscle hamster must have ran on that little hamster wheel because he was kind of stocky last year. He's kind of leaned out this year and breaking tackles, hitting the hole hard, and real decisive on his cuts. I mean, I don't know if he'll return to that Pro Bowl form that he was in 2012, but I think that he'll have a very productive season. And I think, with people, will shy away from him in drafts. So I'm looking to get him anywhere I can.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think about him, Doug? I mean, I've really come around on Doug Martin, and that's why I'm throwing it to you with the Doug reference. But I think he looks good this preseason. You even look at last preseason, and he just was not the same guy at all, period. And this year he looks more decisive and fluid and fitter.
Yeah, so I think the number one, there's 2 things that I'm concerned about when it comes to Doug Martin. One, I'm the better looking Doug. No, I'm kidding. Number one thing is his offensive line is really something that I'm worried about. Granted, they did draft a couple linemen and they got Logan Mankins back, but I'm still concerned, especially from what I've seen so far. Granted, it is preseason, but that line was always going to be an issue.
Yep.
And the second issue is that Tampa's defense is not a very good defense. I'll say it. It's not a very good defense. It has a good couple pieces, but it's not where it should be. And because of that, you're going to see the Buccaneers down a lot, and you're going to see them go more towards the pass a lot, which Doug Martin really doesn't have a hand in. I do like that he has been running better this preseason, and the fact that he really has no competition behind him. Charles Sims is not someone I would be concerned about.
Nah, change of pace back.
Yeah, so there's really no competition. He is clearly that back in Tampa, but that line, the offensive line and the defense, I'm concerned about.
Doug, where he's going 35th, you look around the other running backs in that slot. There are no other 3-down backs, or even the workhorse back. To get a workhorse back at 35, even on a bad team, is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not at his draft position by all means, but I'm not going to trust him as somebody like my number 2 running back. As a number 3, maybe.
The flex, yeah, I think it's a flex.
Yeah, a flex running back 3, sure. I could definitely see Doug Martin putting out that kind of production. But again, the offensive line concerns me much more than that defense does. And I think that's going to be the number one thing that holds him back. But, yeah, where his value is now, where he's getting picked, I've got no problem taking it.
How much does Winston being the quarterback affect your opinion on Doug Martin, Jeff?
On Doug, they had McCown last year. I think you could only go up from there. He's not mobile in the pocket. McCown, I'm talking about. I think that if they have any semblance of a passing game, they won't be stacking the box. They'll actually open up some running lanes. And, I think he caught in the upwards of 40-something passes in 2012. So when you talk about the pass game, Doug Martin's going to be involved in the pass game.
All right.
He caught over, I think it's 47 or something balls in 2012. I think Jameis Winston is definitely a step up from Josh McCown, and I think that if there's any sort of passing game or short, intermediate, whatever the case is, I I think it'll open up some running lanes. That, again, there's some question marks at the offensive line, but I think Winston helps Martin, not hurt him.
All right, I meant more from the rookie aspect, but I'm going to switch it over, not to leave the Bucs. We'll get back to this, but we do have our first question from Bradley Smith, who wants to know: is Ryan Tannehill a legitimate starting quarterback in a 10-team league at this point? And,
Tehol needs to answer that one.
Yeah, Tehol, let's hear your thoughts.
Tyrod.
Yeah, he's right. He's right, kind of on the borderline there. I think right when you get around the 8 to 15 range, like all those guys are kind of interchangeable to me. I mean, you got Stafford, Romo, Bradford, Eli, Tannehill, and Tannehill is going to be better. You know, the second year with Laser there as the O coordinator. He's always been he's an intriguing guy, and I've liked him. He's just a good athlete, good runner. It's just his inability to throw the deep ball is sicking me, and I think it was me more just hating him because I had Mike Wallace or something in a few leagues last year, and I'm just watching this guy. I've never seen a starting quarterback that cannot throw the fade route. Is like guys in high school throw that, guys in middle school throw that, and like why this guy's a professional and cannot throw just straight down. It just blows my mind. But for the offense they run with Landry and the weapons and Parker coming back, he should be great.
Yeah, so I'll personally, and I'm probably a little biased because for some reason I love Tannehill, and he's probably the quarterback I target in most drafts. I think, you saw him finish last year as a number 10 running back, actually. Quarterback. And, think about it this way. He didn't have much besides, besides Jarvis Landry and Mike Wallace, who, granted, Mike Wallace wasn't much of a factor in most games. I mean, he put up decent stats overall, but granted, he did have problems with the deep ball. I think part of it also was Mike Wallace. Well, I just don't think Mike Wallace didn't have a good enough rapport with him, good enough chemistry, and that could have struggled somewhat.
It's a fade route.
Not to cut you off. I mean, I do like Tannehill this year, and I'll get into why in a minute. But you're throwing Mike Wallace like it sounds like you're saying you think Kenny Stills is a better weapon than Mike Wallace. Don't forget that Wallace is, like Tehol was saying in his video earlier with Tyrod Taylor, that Mike Wallace is one of the best deep threats in the game, and you lose that, and you expect Tannehill to be better this year?
So I think the number one thing is that not only is, Bill Lazor back again, because I think he's the best offensive coordinator for Tannehill, but I also think that, he's got Devontae Parker, he's got Jordan Cameron, he's got Jarvis Landry, he's got Kenny Stills. He has more weapons now, and Lamar Miller is a running back that shouldn't be underestimated. I know I didn't like him that much, but he really had a great year last year, and because of that, I think that run game is going to be a threat that's going to sort of not always have, say, 8 people rushing the quarterback every down. So I just think that Tannehill taking another year under his belt. My only concern is his offensive line, but I think he finished top 10 last year with what he had, and if he could do that, then I think he could be a top 8 this year, if not higher.
Yeah, I think the weapons he's gotten, and Mike Wallace didn't really complement Tannehill's game, although he's supposed to be throwing the deep ball better in camp and preseason. But I think the weapons with Cameron and Parker, I think those complement Tannehill's game, the intermediate routes.
Right.
So I think it'll help him.
I happen to think he is a top 10 quarterback at this point. I mean, I talked about him in the quarterbacks video I did, and he's entering his 4th season. I think people tend to apply the Dolphins' record to him as a fantasy quarterback, and they're 2 completely separate things. He's, a game under 500 or 2 games under 500 for his career with the win-loss record. And my brother happens to be a Dolphins fan, so I hear all the time how he hates Tannehill, and I tell him I'd gladly take him in New York over Geno. But the big thing is, I mean, if you look at his numbers, he's a 4,000-yard-a-season quarterback. He's improved his touchdowns. He's going to probably throw for 30 this year. He's reduced his interceptions every year. He does have legs. He can run a little. He can get you a couple rushing touchdowns here and there. I mean, if you're talking about you want Tannehill leading your team into the playoffs in real life, maybe you can have an argument there. But as far as a top 10 fantasy quarterback, I think absolutely. And this season, I would definitely draft him confidently. What do you think about that, Tehol?
Would you draft him in front of Eli Manning, Andy?
I absolutely would. Yeah. I think they're right, kind of there, neck and neck. But I don't know. Something about Tannehill, I just like. I think Eli's prone to the mistake more. You look at the weapons that Eli has. Obviously, with Cruz and with Beckham, I mean, they're two dynamic guys. But I don't think Stills and Landry and Devontae Parker are that far off from what the Giants have. Not as dynamic, not as versatile, but certainly not head and shoulders above the Dolphins receivers. The run games, you could argue, are similar. So yeah, I think just one-on-one as my fantasy quarterback, I'd feel perfectly confident with Tannehill over Eli, and I'd probably draft him over Eli just on the upside alone. I kind of feel like I know what Eli's going to give me, and I think his cap is 30 to 35 touchdowns, where I think Tannehill can still pass that.
Yeah, I think the number one thing with Eli is that he's also known to throw a lot of interceptions. Now, granted, he had a bounce back year last year, but that offensive line is even worse than Miami's, and they don't really have a solid run game behind them. They dealt with an injury to Rashad Jennings last year, and Andre Williams didn't do that well. Granted, they have Shane Vereen, but he's a passing down back mostly. He's never really been known to do damage inside the tackles as a runner. So I would say Tannehill as well. Tehol, what do you? I want to go back a little bit, if you don't mind. Tehol, who is somebody or some players that you've seen in the preseason that maybe you weren't considering before, but now that you have seen a little bit of the season, you've seen them play? Who is somebody that you would recommend and also target yourself in drafts that maybe were off the radar before?
Oh, somebody off the radar. There's been a couple guys who I normally would stay away from that now. A guy like Jeremy Maclin, I wasn't excited about him going to Kansas City at all. But from what I've seen in the preseason, it's got me pretty excited that they're going to really kind of force feed and really kind of make him kind of one of the focal points there and get him. They're throwing to him a lot, and he's coming through when chosen as a target. So I think he's going to be a lot better than I had him. Kind of maybe. I forget if I had him in late 20s or high 20s. I may have moved him. I know I moved him up recently in my rankings. I think he's going to have a big year. And then nobody's really coming to mind. Doug Martin, I think he looks like a million times better than he looks like the last couple of years. I'm just concerned is, you guys are saying like he's the for sure running back. It's like every running back they put in there over the last 2 years has looked better than he has the last 2 years. So is the job just automatically back to his? They drafted Sims. All the fantasy geeks are on Sims nuts last year. Why is he all of a sudden just nothing? So that's what I'm kind of wondering what's going on there. And he looks like their number one dude, but I'm just.
I completely
why everybody else has just been thrown to the side. When every fantasy dude last year, look out for Sims and the fucking,
No, Sims can't hold up to every down, though. He's not an every down back.
Look, Martin missed like 2 fucking seasons.
He did, but he was hurt for a good. He only played in, I think, 2013, 6 games because of injury, and 11 in 2014. Right. So he's been injured. He's healthy. I think the point that needs to be made on Doug Martin is just his draft position, the value. I think as a standalone, lots of question marks. I think at his draft position, you look at the guys around him, I think he represents a lot of value. That's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, he's going late. He definitely looks really good. I'm just wondering why all the other guys are, not so much from you guys, but just from like the team's perspective, are they just...
Yeah, I think look at the guys around him.
Fine job.
There's Gurley, Ryan Matthews, Trey Mason, Ryan Matthews, Crowell.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a flyer on Martin.
Yeah, definitely. I like Crowell, but he doesn't seem to really be wanting to take off with the job there.
I agree. I think the most talented one.
Doesn't seem.
I don't know about that.
Well, Duke Johnson got concussed.
But to say that Isaiah Crowell is the most talented, I would definitely put him ahead of Terrence West, but I'm not so sure ahead of Duke Johnson.
The guy,
we don't know.
The guy scored once every 20 times he touched the ball last year. How can you argue that he's not the most talented in that offense? Or in the backfield?
Because we haven't gotten a chance to see Duke Johnson. He was
exactly.
But Crowell was undrafted. You don't take someone undrafted. You don't have a first round talent that goes undrafted simply because of behavior.
Terrence West was a second-round pick, and you just said
he was a third-round
more talented than him. Was he a third-round?
He was a third-round pick.
I mean, I think the only knocks on Crowell weren't necessarily his on-field stuff. It was his off-the-field stuff. And I think once he got on the field, he kind of proved that he did rise to the top. I mean, it was surprising to me that they took Duke Johnson. I don't know.
And then they're talking about getting Ray Rice, Andy.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. I'm not selling on Crowell. I think it's smoke screens right now. I think he's still the guy to own in that backfield. And I mean, these are all these are speculative points, but again, you look at his production on the field, and for him it's just getting on the field. It seems like all the knocks on him are, as Tehol just said, like not running away with the job, and those seem to be character concerns more than anything. And I just think maybe this coaching staff is just trying to get through to him, playing some mind games than
possibility.
More than they're not happy with his on the field production. It's one thing to want somebody to do what you want them to do, and it's another thing for them to want to do what you want them to do. So I think it's just he's still young, he's still learning, and I think he'll get it. But as far as a talent perspective goes, I don't think it's close. I like Duke Johnson, but if he was as sought after as talented, then he would have been drafted a lot higher. He fell to where he fell for a reason, in my opinion. And I'm a Miami fan, so for me to say that about him, it's not a knock on him. It's.
But you could say the same thing about Crowell. If he was that talented, someone would have drafted him, but they didn't.
But that goes back to the off the field stuff. It was all his academic stuff. I mean, he was supposed to be at a bigger college than he was because of the off-the-field stuff. So,
but didn't he go to Georgia Tech at some point?
Georgia.
He started.
He was a superstar. This guy's the player of the year in high school. He killed it as a true freshman at Georgia. Then he got kicked off the team or in trouble, kicked off the team. So he went to like some D1 AA team. So it was totally just worried about off-the-field stuff.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. When a team is considering, and granted, this is the Browns, so the Browns are crazy, but considering that they wouldn't rule out the possibility of signing a PR nightmare and a guy who was already coming off of a bad season in Ray Rice, that's got to say something. And that they only started saying that, they said that last night after Duke Johnson got a concussion.
Yeah, I think it speaks to Andy's point, honestly, about playing mind games with a young running back, Crowell.
Yeah, they're trying to motivate him.
They're trying to motivate him because Cleveland's a mess. They're not gonna. It's already a mess. They don't need a bigger mess with Ray Rice. They're not gonna touch Ray Rice.
Yeah, well, I'll take that motivation all day in my drafts when he's falling to the 8th round and later.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I actually like the situation in Cleveland because, one, you don't have a passing game. No passing game whatsoever. There's not one person on that team as a receiver or a tight end that you have to like. So, and they have a pretty decent, actually they have a terrific offensive line. They have Alex Mack, they have Joe Thomas, they got Cameron Irving. They got a terrific offensive line. So I feel like somebody's going to come up, and I feel it's not going to be Terrence West. I don't think Terrence West is going to do it. Terrence West is way down the depth chart, and he often was last season. So I think it's going to come down to Duke Johnson or Isaiah Crowell. And last I checked, I think Isaiah Crowell was being picked around the 7th, 8th round. I want to say Duke was in the 6th, 7th. And I don't mind taking either of them if I can because, yeah, they're both very talented. And one of them is going to come away with the job. So I like that situation even though it's a pure committee right now. So that's just me, though. I would definitely want to own either one of those two guys.
So let me ask you guys a question. I was on my way home last night from the Flex League Cup drafts and all that. Great time. I actually got to meet and interview a lot of people in the industry, and I'll have a video with that out this week. So hopefully everybody will tune in. But when I was coming home, I was checking the Twitter feed, and so Randall Cobb nearly escaped a broken collarbone. I don't know how you nearly escape a broken collarbone to it be not so serious, but
Sprained AC joint.
okay. Well, I tweeted if Randall Cobb misses any time, does that just automatically catapult Devontae Adams into the Hall of Fame right away? Because it seems like as soon as Jordy Nelson went down, he went from what 6th, 7th, 8th round pick all the way up to early 4th, late 3rd. So if Randall Cobb goes down, I mean, what do you guys think of Devontae Adams to this point with Cobb, let alone if Cobb goes down? And what's your whole take with the receiving core in Green Bay right now? Janice, Montgomery.
Tehol, what's your take?
I talked about this earlier. I was just talking about this. I think if anything, it's going to be something pretty short term, right? You know, like maybe he could possibly miss a week or two. So I'm thinking, what, it's not the end of the world for the team. If I was them, I probably wouldn't risk it if it was anything. If I had to sit him out a week or two, if I was the Packers, like I'm going to do that. I mean, you got Lacey there. Just give him a couple more carries. I think the tight end Richard Rodgers gains a lot. He's kind of rising up my rankings a little bit. I like him. I think he would probably have a heavy amount of targets for that week or two if Cobb is out for that amount of time. And then obviously Adams will get a bunch. And then it looks like Montgomery is a little bit ahead of Janice right now, although I kind of like them both, but they're probably both boom or bust picks if you're going to throw them out on your fantasy daily league or something like that. Might be a good one if you're going for that $1 million. Throw one of those guys. Throw Montgomery in there. Maybe week 1 he gets you 2 long touchdowns or something crazy like that.
How do you feel about Janice though? I mean, he's like a Jordy Nelson clone, like almost exactly. What do you think about him?
He's cool. I like him. He is a Jordy Nelson clone mainly because he's white, I guess. But he's a freak athlete. And
White? What?
Montgomery is. I've been following him for a few years down at Stanford, big Pac-12 over here. I'm in UW and all that, so I've been watching a lot of Montgomery, and he was nasty 2 seasons ago. He was incredible. I thought the guy was going to be a first-round pick or something like that, and then he didn't have a very good senior season. His last season in college was a real big disappointment, so he still went in the 3rd round. So he's definitely a legit threat to me, and from what I've been reading, they said he's a little more polished than Janice, so maybe he has the lead on that job.
I think that just has to go with the conference he played in and the college level he played in, that he's a little bit better prepared than Janice at this point. But, I mean, I saw him at the Senior Bowl. I liked what I saw. He was one of the guys I wanted to see when I went down there based on what you said, what you saw at Stanford and everything. I mean, he's got the size, or at least on paper he's got the size. When I saw him up close, he was solid. He was thick, but he wasn't nearly as tall as I thought. I thought he was on the shorter side of 5'11", 6 feet. And, for a wide receiver, to me, that makes a difference. And, I mean, his hands, man, he just doesn't have the hands.
He's kind of like Ted Ginn in a way, except...
Oh, God, that's a horrible, horrible thing to say.
Just killed his career.
Except he's a 3rd-round pick and not a top 10 pick. So, it's like if you get Ted Ginn in the 3rd round, it's a decent draft pick, 10th overall or 9th overall.
He's a career returner, though. Oh, that's like calling him Devin Hester.
So, wait, would you put Ted Ginn over Ted Ginn in his prime as the 3rd receiver in Green Bay? Would you? How would you draft that?
Oh, yeah, of course.
What round would a prime Ted Ginn as a 3rd receiver with Aaron Rodgers go for you?
1st round.
All right.
Oh, I have no idea.
Right in front of Antonio Brown.
All right. So another thing that was came out last night was yesterday in the games was Trey Mason came out of the game a little early, tweaked his hamstring. They said nothing major. This is big to me only because I advocate for I endorse Trey Mason only because we really don't know what Gurley's going to be yet, and there's no indication he's going to be showing us that anytime in the immediate future. So Trey Mason has a lot of value as far as I'm concerned, especially where he's getting picked right now. You guys, what do you think about Trey Mason? How's you feel, Jeff? What do you think about him?
Yeah, I don't. It's hard to know exactly how serious that hamstring injury is. That I agree with you. He does. He holds some value. I think particularly more early in the season with Gurley. Everybody has said they're going to ease him into the season, and we really don't know what we're going to get when they do ease him in. So I think he does hold some value. I would definitely keep an eye on that injury. Hopefully it's like they say, and it's not super serious. But I'd have to agree with you. I think he holds some pretty good value, especially early in the season.
So I think the thing to think about here is, and I'll say this right now. I feel like Todd Gurley is going to be what Odell Beckham was last year. So what I think is that he's going to start off slow if he even plays that much at all, because It doesn't seem like they're going to keep him on the PUP. They already took him off. But he's going to be somebody that's going to not make much of an impact. He's a top 15 pick. Really highly touted coming out of college. Has a lower body injury. Who's going to make a huge impact in the second half because St. Louis doesn't really have much of a pass game. And, they have Nick Foles, they have Brian Quick, but other than that, so I really think Todd Gurley, once he's fully over his knee and he's back to health, he's going to have an impact like Odell Beckham did, where he's going to do nothing and he's going to be a superstar in fantasy. So that's just me. I still wouldn't target him where he's going, which is, I think, like 7th round, simply because there's a lot of chance that couldn't happen because knowing the Rams, they might bring him back too early, and he might still be hampered at the end.
But if there's even a 50% chance he makes an Odell Beckham type impact, you're taking him in the 7th, 8th round, right? Why wouldn't you take? If you think it's even close, even the chance he does an impact.
I think the stars align for him. He's also an SEC player, just like Odell Beckham.
So you should take him in the 7th round.
And why wouldn't you take him in the 7th, 8th round?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like the stars are aligning, and I feel like it's just going to happen. Now, granted, Odell Beckham certainly had his case helped when Victor Cruz went down with a knee injury, and there was nobody to throw to. So they just started chucking the ball towards him. Who knows? Maybe Trey Mason maybe they do a committee for most of the year. Who knows? Because Trey Mason certainly did enough last year.
I'm not going to lie. I mean, given Gurley's pedigree, I love that analogy, comparing him to coming into the season a couple games after, starting out on the shelf and just taking over the league by storm. I mean, that's kind of what everybody was expecting him to do. So, if you wrote the script for TV or for a movie, that'd be awesome. But I don't know. It's just, it's that would be awesome.
That would be, because it would justify everybody's lofty expectations for him. Now, granted, he's arguably the best running back prospect since Adrian Peterson. Trent Richardson was a bust. I don't know how he got picked number 3 overall, but keep in mind the Browns picked him. So I'm worried about drafting Todd Gurley because I feel like it won't happen because I feel like the Rams are going to push him back too early. They haven't so far, but I feel like push comes to shove, Trey Mason goes down with a hamstring injury. Their pass game starts to suffer, and they're not scoring any points. What are you going to do? You're going to put your top 15 pick in.
Well, I mean,
no, you're not. They're going to be careful. There's no way they're going to put. This guy's not even in contact in practice yet. I don't think they're going to do that. No way.
I'm just saying, if they're push, they're just not scoring. Who knows?
Well,
when somebody's desperate, you don't know what happens.
Here are the guys going immediately around them right now, and these are all injury guys at that, except for maybe one rookie, and that's Jonathan Stewart, Andre Ellington, Chris Ivory, Arian Foster, Todd Gurley, T.J. Yeldon, and LeGarrette Blount. They're all kind of in the same range. So you got another rookie right after him in Yeldon. You got Ivory, who's jumped up to the end of the 4th round right now in his ADP, which I'd love to see. But other than that, everybody else is an injury risk. So, I mean, if Gurley is really all-world, like, we thought he was watching him in college, why not? I mean, I'd rather hitch my, put my bets on him if I have to, choose somebody because the upsides, the potential is unknown. But at the end of the day, I think I'd rather go a little safer there as well. You're still talking about a late fourth, early fifth round pick, so I think it's too much of a gamble to take that, for me at least.
Yeah, so I thought he was going the 7th. He's actually going way higher than that. So that's part of the reason why I'm scared away from him a little bit.
But would you take a guy like Ellington, who's injured every year? I loathe Ellington.
You just said he was Odell Beckham of running backs. Now you're staying away?
At his ADP, yeah. Right now.
Well, you're going to have to spend a little to get him.
Remember this, Odell Beckham was on most people's waiver wires.
Yeah.
He wasn't even on the fantasy radar. This guy has got so much hype around him. It's crazy.
All right, well, speaking of rookie running backs.
He's got a lot of potential, but where he's going, I'm scared.
Speaking of rookie running backs, though, it was widely thought that this was going to be a huge class. So I'm gonna throw this to Tehol. Another guy going right around Gurley is Yeldon. Have you gotten a chance to see him at all yet? What do you think about his?
I did, and I think it's probably the only game pretty much anyone's seen him play in was against Detroit, whose run defense is looking filthy. They were just sticking him play after play like it was ugly. Like he tried to jump, he tried to pull the old jump, leap the goal line with the touchdown. Just got drilled. It was crazy. I felt bad for him. He was just getting hit after hit out there, but he finally kind of seemed to settle in. None of the rookies have looked good at all to me, except maybe Abdullah has shown some flashes. But Gordon has looked like shit. Yeldon didn't look very good, but they're rookies and they're probably trying to figure it out. The game's got to slow down for him a little bit, but the way they're working him, I assume they want him to be the workhorse. I mean, Denard Robinson's kind of an interesting guy. And maybe ownable in like PPR league. And he seems to do some every time he gets the ball, so they might be bringing him in from time to time. But none of the other guys are really deserving of much action. So I think they're going to try to get Yeldon going, but I'm scared to take him. Just from what I've seen from him in Jacksonville, I don't really have a prediction on him right now. I didn't love what I saw in that limited amount of time there, but
that just goes kind of to my point with Gurley, and that these rookies that are getting time to kind of learn in the preseason, everybody kind of fell in love with Abdullah because of one cutback he made.
I didn't. And I thought he's going to be like kind of a change. They're going to be running like a 3 running back system in Detroit for all I know. People are immediately like, "Oh, Joik Bell is done. He's meaningless," and I'm like, "What? For what?" Like he's definitely still their big pound it back and their goal line back, and it's looked solid to me the last couple of years. Though he does get banged up, so I'm kind of confused about the Abdullah train.
Well, you mentioned you were watching that game, so. You had Abdullah rush 3 times for 8 yards, which is really kind of nothing. I mean, I know it's preseason. You had Yeldon go 8 times for 10 yards, and then you had another rookie who now is, like Jeff Janis, like the flavor of the week, and that, of course, is Zach Zenner, who had 8 carries for 85 yards and a touchdown, and just kind of, basically put himself on a lot of teams as a late-round flyer now. I mean, did you say you were watching the game? Did he jump out to you at all? Anybody have a feel for Zach Zenner?
Nope.
I don't know.
No.
I usually don't do white running backs. That's just me.
As a rule.
It's one of the codes I live by. But
Peyton Hillis.
Right. Yeah. Never owned.
I think so. Personally, for me, I think the depth chart is going to be Joik Bell at the top. And then it's a struggle between Theo Riddick and Amir Abdullah for second, at least to start the season. And then Zach Zenner's that 4th guy who people aren't even sure if he's going to make the 53-man roster. So, I don't know if he's really going to be able to make much of an impact without, say, someone doing really, really bad or someone or some even running backs getting hurt.
Yeah, probably multiple injuries there.
Yeah,
but like what Doug said, Joyce Bell, people are talking like this dude just dead in the like. Can somebody clarify to me what's going on there? People are just making it sound like he's just nothing.
It's the Zach Center breakout. It's the Abdullah cutback against the Jets, and Joyce,
right.
gimpy knee.
Like Doug said, Bell is still the dude to own, right or no?
Especially where he's fallen. I mean, how can you not get that value on your roster when he's fallen to what's he fallen to? He's fallen to like the 7th, 8th round right now. Early 7th, 7.5 roughly.
Here's the thing: has Drake Bell even played this preseason? He's coming off of 2 surgeries to his lower body.
Oh,
he had knee surgery and Achilles surgery, I believe.
He hasn't, but there are a bunch of other veterans that haven't played, and you just look at C.J. Spiller. Guys are drafting C.J. Spiller high. He's not playing in the preseason.
Yeah, because he has a defined role.
Yeah, but he's also coming off a major injury himself. So, and into a new offense.
Keep in mind here, who threw the most passes to running backs?
I was trying to back you. I was saying you said Joyce Bell's the number 1 guy. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah, because I know that's what's going to happen, but it shouldn't be.
Well, why not? What has he done past the not?
Because he didn't. I don't even think he finished with 4 yards per carry last year.
Well, 3 points.
And he's coming off of 2 surgeries. He's coming off of 2 surgeries.
I think the Tehol, speaking to your point, I think that Bell has fallen. It has more to do with Abdullah than it has anything to do with Bell. I think that the hype train was chugging for Abdullah, and I still think Bell is going to be very involved.
And I agree with you, Jeff. And that's kind of you mentioned Denard Robinson before. I don't see why guys don't want to draft this guy. I mean, why is Yeldon all of a sudden anointed like the chosen one? They're going to give him the work to start, but there's no guarantee that he's going to be able to do it. And Denard Robinson's looked good this preseason.
He's looked good every time. He's done everything they've ever asked for.
Exactly. So
he's done very good in every opportunity he's been given.
Right. You put him as your running back, 4 or 5 on your bench where you can get him, and if he doesn't pan out, you drop him after a couple of weeks. But to have him secured on your roster, I think is a smart move to make. As you mentioned, he's done everything they've ever asked of him and done it well, and he's looking good this preseason. So I don't know what's not to like there.
I think the thing to worry about him is he finished off the season on the IR. Didn't he have surgery? And also the thing is he's pretty small for a running back. I think he was a little undersized. And clearly, here's the problem: is that they drafted Yeldon in the 2nd round, knowing that they had plenty of other needs, but they still went after him. So I feel like Yeldon's going to be put in a lot. They're going to expect him to move the ball, and because it's going to open up, with their passing game with Allen Robinson. They just signed Julius Thomas to a lot of money, who I don't like, but could still get enough targets that he would be someone to be monitoring by defenses. That it will open up more of the running game.
They needed Yeldon.
I think
they realized that Gerhardt is hot trash.
Oh, there's your white running back.
Yeah, so they needed Yeldon.
It's the white running back person. Are there even any white running backs that have ever really done more than 1 season's worth of
John
work?
Riggins.
I know Peyton Hillis had 1 good year.
You got to go back to Riggins.
God, John Riggins.
Blasphemy.
Wasn't he a fullback though?
No,
Wasn't he a
blasphemous.
fullback?
Yeah,
I'm hanging up.
You got to go back a while.
See, that's what happens when you're born in the Stone Age. You remember that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You got that BYU dude or wherever he was at rush for 2,000 or 2,300 yards. The guy can't even make it in the league. It's just really tough.
Are you talking about Jimmer Fredette?
No, I'm not. But same rule applies a lot of the time in the NBA as well.
We're point guards. Yeah. So
American white guys anyway. The European dudes are doing their thing for sure.
So you don't like Tyler Varga this year is what you're saying?
Well, that's Yale. Tyler Varga. That's the Yale running back.
Volva.
I like him.
Tyler Volva.
Volva?
No. No, Tyler Varga.
All right. right. So
Where is he?
I don't even know where he's at.
Who are some other hot topic guys that you guys have an opinion on or a take on that we could share before?
If I could, Andy, I would like to back up your DeAndre Hopkins.
Go for it.
I was, I don't know. It wasn't that I didn't like him coming into the season, but I thought you made some. I mean, you moved the needle for me on that video you did for Hopkins, and I've been getting him in just about every mock I've done. I love him, and I love Jordan Matthews right about the same time in the draft. And those are two guys I'm going after. But I dug the video, and I thought you made some solid points for DeAndre Hopkins, and I'm big on him now.
Why, thank you, sir. He almost had another spectacular one-handed grab today, a little while ago.
Yeah, I've been lukewarm on it. I don't know why. Like, I loved him in college, and I'm just kind of been like, I don't know why I don't love him. But after watching him kind of today and just kind of seeing that he's as legit as he truly is, I'm getting sold. I'm moving him up.
Yeah, great. Like I said in my piece, I think he's quarterback proof. People make too much of Arian Foster's injury. Who's throwing him the ball? It doesn't matter. He's going to run his routes, and a professional quarterback's going to get it within the vicinity of him, and then he's going to be able to go up and make the grab. So I'm not worried about him.
Yeah, Hoyer looked pretty good. It's not like it's that bum who was starting games for the Arizona Cardinals at the end of the year. It's not like you have a situation where this guy's so bad.
Tyrod Taylor.
I think it was Ryan Lindley who
Lindley
now is in New England.
Right.
No, but I think the thing is that granted that running game is going to be a little bit weaker, but that offensive line is going to be really good for Houston, and I think that if Hoyer's given enough time and he's given someone to throw to, you saw what he did when he had Josh Gordon. You saw that he put up pretty decent stats. So, I think it's almost a similar situation. He was on a team that was run heavy, had a good offensive line, but really nobody to throw to other than one guy. So, I think that DeAndre Hopkins, and all hate me later, but I think he's more talented than Josh Gordon.
I know we don't have Dr. Parekmo tonight, but Jeff, you with the infirmary report do a lot of stuff with injuries and how players are healing and all that kind of stuff. Anybody that's been injured so far this preseason or coming into the season, anybody that you're particularly worried about because of those injuries?
Well, yeah, this actually brings me to the next thing I wanted to talk about. And since we're on the Houston Texans, and we all know about the Arian Foster injury and the timetable, he's slipping in drafts. I mean, like criminally far in drafts. And there's no firm. They keep changing the timetable on Foster, and so it's hard to know exactly, what we're going to get as far as his recovery. I think the point I want to make is, if he's don't let him slip too far in your draft is the point I want to make, because I think he's slipping way too far. I want to know from the three of you, what do you do with Alfred Blue? Where do you take him?
Well, if in my running back piece I talked about Alfred Blue, at the time I thought Foster was going to miss at least 8 games. My feeling with Blue is I hear a lot of Chris Polk talk, and I know he was supposed to be, the guy in Philly before he got, ran out of time there. Now, the coaches love him, but I told somebody the other day about him saying, I think he'd be lucky to get one Justin Forsett sighting every decade. Meaning, like, he's a journeyman who, the coaches love him, want him on the team, want him on the roster, in the locker room, all that kind of stuff at practice. But to get the opportunity, to get the work, and to have the success that Forsett had last year in Baltimore, I don't see that happening. So I don't like the Polk story. When I watched the 3 running backs down there work, you got Polk, Blue, even Kenny Hilliard. I think Blue just looks the best out of all of them.
Yeah.
He just looks like a true running back. His quickness, his burst, his lateral movement. He's working on his vision. He's working on hitting the holes. But everybody said he's improved in all areas of the game and trying to be that true 3-down back there. He got thrust into a position a lot prematurely than they probably ever could have anticipated. But I think he's the most talented of what they have, and I think he eventually rises. Kind of like I said with Crowell in Cleveland. I mean, I think he's just the most talented there. So.
Yeah, I think the other injury, Andy, we talked about was Jordy Nelson, and Tehol made a point, and I think it was a very, very good point. Everybody's riding Adams nuts. They think he's just skyrocketed up in mock drafts, and I think what Tehol said with Rodgers is a sneaky play there. And Janice, she had a good song that Me and Bobby McGee or whatever in the '60s or whatever it was called. Who knows what you get with Janice? I like Rodgers. I think that's a sneaky pick there that Tehol made.
Yeah. So I think the thing with I just want to touch on real quick because I want to hear Tehol just talk. Is what we've always seen out of Arian Foster is that when he does play, and he plays mostly, he may be injury prone, but most of the time he does play, unless it's some major injury. He's dealt with many minor injuries that he plays through, and when he's on the field, he makes a lot of damage. So, now granted, what I've heard reports of is what exactly the injury was, and basically he tore his groin off the bone, which I don't know if any of you guys would ever think of that, but that sounds pretty bad.
That would be very bad for Tehol.
Yeah. He needs that,
Career ending for me.
Yeah. But I think that he's somebody that if you can grab him as, say, in the 9th round, especially in PPR leagues, I would definitely take him because when he's on the field, he always produces no matter if he's 100% or not. So, but in terms of their running backs right now, I'd probably stay away from Alfred Blue, but I could see him as a mid-tier running back 3 if he's really given 15 carries a game. So,
yeah, Blue stepped in last year and did a decent job. I mean, he was like a 6th-round pick, LSU, nice, decent. He played solid. Like, he did a decent job. Like, he doesn't do anything that really jumps off the spreadsheet. Doesn't look crazy when you're watching him, but he just does a solid job. I was really hoping Chris Polk would step it up a little bit. He's a University of Washington guy from out here. I thought he was going to be a little better. He looked pretty bad today. Only averaged, I think, like 2 yards a carry or something. So I was expecting a little more out of him. Like, I was hoping he'd push to even, like, kind of split carries. But I think Blue is definitely the guy. I'm kind of confused on where Foster, what's going on. Because at first, they're like, he's missing 6 games, 8 games. And then they're like, oh, he could only miss a couple games. And I'm like, how can you tear the groin off the bone or whatever and only miss like a couple games? So I'm confused as to, like, I need to really do some research on how hurt he is, because if he only misses a couple games or something, I mean, that's big to draft him, although I'm sure they'll bring him along quite slow, so you probably wouldn't even use him the first couple games. So I don't know. I really need clarification on the injuries. Like, on a high note, my favorite player, the guy who broke Geno Smith's jaw, just favorited all my Tyrod Taylor tweets.
Nice.
And so I've officially made it. The guy who I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but broke people's quarterback's jaw.
Get him to retweet it, not just favorite it.
Those are the kind of guys I'm associated with.
Get him to retweet it.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he can retweet that and really pick one of his.
Yeah, he'd be showing favoritism.
Right, he can't do that.
Yeah,
well but then
I don't think he really cares about that, though. He knocked out his quarterback.
Yeah,
he did favorited, and I think you can look that up.
I don't.
Didn't he punch a guy who he's supposed to hook up with that he thought was a girl? So I don't think he's. I don't think he's afraid of something like that. But
so from what I've heard, to answer your thing about Arian Foster, though, they're saying he could be back as soon as week 4 or miss 4 games or something in that range. But now that there seems to be a few other guys in that 4-game range, and I want to get your takes on those real quick. One of them being Tom Brady. Do you think he sits the 4 games out? And the other being most recent one in Martavis Bryant, who's not going to miss 4 games. I liked him to really kind of explode this year and be that 2 guy, not Marcus Wheaton.
He looks nasty, doesn't he?
He looked incredible yesterday.
He's playing mad.
I mean, he's 6'4". Like, this guy is huge, and he's like a gazelle. I mean, what's not to like about him? So I think he easily
looks like one too.
Wait, he looks like a gazelle?
Literally.
Okay. Well, what's your take on what's your take on him? You still holding on to him? You drafting him? You passing on him? Where do you expect to get him now? Because he was going around the 5th round, and now he's dropped a little.
Jeff, what do you think?
On Martavis Bryant?
Yeah.
I agree. He looks like he's playing mad. It's so hard. I don't think with suspended people you can, just cross them off your draft board. I don't think you should do that at all. And a guy like that with that talent and that passing game, I'd love to get him in my draft for sure. I think he's looked filthy and uncoverable. What's not to like?
Well, he's dropped almost 2 full rounds since his suspension.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I would have had to drop him, but after seeing that and kind of what he's done at every opportunity, I almost say leave him kind of like where he's been going. I mean, if you have to sit him for a few games, like whatever. I don't know if his suspension is appealable at all. I don't know if
who cares.
At least a
he's
game
appealing
back
right now, but he's probably not going to win.
Right, but so like even if he's missing 4, like get Wheaton later, get someone to fill in, and when you get him back, I mean, like Doug mentioned Odell Beckham earlier, or Josh Gordon when he missed a couple games, like guys like that always slide further than maybe they should because they're hurt or suspended or whatever, and then they come back and look, you see what happened, just game changer, total game changer. So.
Yeah,
I don't know. Brian looks like freaking Randy Moss or something out there. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And the only one concern I would have, and I'm not trying to lump him into this category at all, but would be what's happened with Blackman and Josh Gordon, obviously with his weed problem. Like, I mean, I don't know.
He must have failed multiple if he's getting the 4 games. I guess he can fail like 2, right, or 3 before you get suspended.
I think it's his 4th.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
it's his 3rd or his 4th.
I mean, that would be the only concern I would have with him going forward. Is this a chronic? Chronic.
No pun intended.
But is this
chronic?
Is this a chronic problem with him, or
I think it is a chronic problem. Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head, dude.
Yeah. Well, all right. Is this a repetitive problem with him?
I think it's an icky problem.
An icky? Okay. Well. You mentioned he looks like Randy Moss. So now there's another Miami guy who we were talking about Tom Brady for a second too. Reggie Wayne finds himself in New England now with an opportunity with Brandon LaFell looking like he's going on the PUP list. What's your take on Reggie Wayne? Anything left in the tank? I mean, I just drafted him in the MFL 10 I'm doing in the 13th round just because I mean, it's just pure upside. I don't see it as a wasted pick. If he doesn't do anything, if there's nothing left, so be it. Drop him, cut him. But if you get him towards the end of your drafts as a bench receiver, what's not to like? Somebody talk me out of this.
Don't you get visions of Randy Moss when everybody thought he didn't have anything in the tank, and then Tom Brady made him look like a superstar again? That's what it reminds me of.
Half of Moss's production would be ridiculous. So, I mean, talk me out of this. Can anybody talk me out of Reggie Wayne? Am I just being a Miami fan?
I don't know.
That late, I don't mind it. I mean, he's probably going to be your number 5 wide receiver, and somebody you draft as your number 5 doesn't always last on your roster. So say he doesn't do well, or maybe he's still hurt, you drop him, you find the next, the thing that's riding hot right now. So I don't mind that.
Like if he's passing Amendola on the depth chart, then what I'm really wondering is why Amendola is still on the roster. The guy's been a huge disappointment since they signed him. I thought he was going to be great there. It's been
his contract.
How can you not pass Amendola
I don't know why he's still there.
It's his contract.
How can you not pass him on the depth chart though?
I don't think he's smart enough to figure out that offense. I don't think he has yet.
I guess.
I don't know. I had high hopes for him, but he has a huge contract, and that's the reason why they won't.
Right, but he's in the third year of it. These guys always structure it where they can chop him after the third. Like, it's right around the time where these guys usually chop.
He's getting $6 million a year.
Yeah, but how much of that is guaranteed and how much?
I don't know, but all I know is that's the only reason he has
the time when they're making a certain amount of money, because only you need to hit up the overthecap.com.
Shout out to Over the Cap. Sponsor us.
Overthecap.com. Anybody got any other pressing issues? We're about an hour in right now. For those that don't know, for those that did kind of check in and check out, we had one question asked tonight. Hopefully, we'll get more as we go forward with this. We will have the doctor with us in the future. Celine Perec will go over injuries. We'll have Payton Sanders with us. We'll get a random.
I love her. How do you pronounce her name? I love her. What is it?
It's a he.
What's his name?
Who's her?
A bromance.
Whoa.
Dr. Perec, Celine, the fantasy doctor.
Oh, Celine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll have Payton Sanders, who's part of this crew here. We'll have random guests from time to time each week. And we're going to do this live every Sunday.
Did you get Lisa Ann for next week? Did you get that squared away?
Sure, we could try to see if we can get her as a guest on the show.
That would be... That would be fun.
Doug spent quite a bit of time with Lisa Ann.
Well, I have an interview that from yesterday that'll be airing this week with her.
Hey, next show, Tehol. You must explain that next show.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. But
I feel like I know her without ever having met her. I feel like I know her pretty well.
It's a woman of his dreams.
Yeah.
I feel like we're kindred spirits, so I'm really excited about the possibility of getting her on here.
The number one thing that people are going to take away is how creepy Tehol is with Lisa Ann.
Exactly. I want to test her. What is her fantasy knowledge? It's got to be legit. She's on all these shows. She's on all this stuff. I'm like, what is going on? Like, how legit is she on the numbers, or is it strictly a gimmick? What's your take?
I actually asked her that very question when I interviewed her yesterday. So you'll have to wait for the answer.
Okay. You tease. Oh, nice word.
Nice tease, Andy.
You'll have to ask. You'll have to await the results of that video coming out in the next couple of days. But I mean, now that you sidetracked us with this, just let me finish up and tell everybody we're gonna do this live.
Let's do this all night.
We're gonna do this live every Sunday, starting at 11 a.m. We'll try to take it up to kickoff. So basically, we'll be here for all your start-sit questions, last-minute waiver ads or free agent ads, that kind of stuff. We'll make fun of Doug a lot. Tehol will creep us out a bunch. So we'll have fun throughout the season, but we need your participation as well. So this was our preseason dress rehearsal tonight, just going through the motions. I hope some of you got something out of it. I'm going to stop talking serious now, let you guys get back to where we were taking this. But somebody else chime in here. What do you got to say?
Hey, 11 Eastern. Make sure you say that because not all of us live on the East Coast, Holmes.
Hey, I was going to ask this. I was going to post this to Twitter earlier. Is it an arrogant assumption to make that everybody in the country just uses Eastern time as the default?
Nope. East Coast is where it's at.
We're just so used to everybody putting East Coast time on everything over here. Finally, ESPN finally changed the game score or the game times for like baseball games on their main website. They finally put like the time of where you live instead of putting 7 o'clock Eastern time. It now says 4.
Yeah, but when I was in Cali, that actually threw me off. I don't remember exactly how the situation went, but I was looking to adjust my lineups for baseball or something, and I had the wrong times because I thought it was still on East time.
It'll get you.
Yeah, it definitely did.
So I have a question, Jeff. If we can't get Lisa Ann for next week, can we put your goat on?
I think I don't think he'd complain about that. He's
I'd rather see him than you, and luckily we don't have to.
Yeah, well, he's kind of a one-trick pony. He doesn't have a whole lot to offer, but hell, why not?
Does he know a few sleepers that we don't know?
He may.
Well, we're going to actually try to get your picture next week as well. Instead of
we're going to work on that.
instead of you lying on the tracks.
Maybe it's better this way. What?
Could be. Hey, Tehol.
Yeah.
Olympia Pizza on Queen Anne. Legit, right? In Seattle?
Yeah.
There?
They're good. Yeah.
Been years, but it was bomb when I was there.
Oh, let's go there. Let's meet up. Wait. Where do you live?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, never mind.
Teal, you want to make the drive up?
We got sunshine here.
I was thinking you were somewhere out here in the boonies.
Down here in the sunshine.
Elder guys.
Maybe we can get you milking your goat on video.
Oh, wow.
Sweet.
Oh,
it's a male.
That'd be even more interesting.
Oh, no.
That will be even more interesting.
I was wondering why I wasn't getting any milk.
How many attempts did you make?
Too many.
Too many.
I'm a slow learner.
All right. Well,
Let's wrap this up. You guys talk too much.
I'm running out of steam for the first week without having an influx of questions. But I think
it's preseason. It's 10 o'clock at night. People are going back to work tomorrow like normal people, and
I'm jacked. I may do another Tyrod Taylor video. The sequel.
Oh, I can't wait.
the sequel.
The sequel.
I think
Can't wait.
I think you absolutely should. And then for those who don't know what we're talking about, we just dropped Tehol's nickel press debut tonight. So go check that out after you check the remainder of this out and see every reason why you should love Tyrod Taylor this year for your fantasy team. And just in life.
When they make the official announcement, is Rex Ryan going to shout me out on national television? That's what I really want to know.
He's not going to make it public. He said he was going to make it today, but not public.
He's going to get a tattoo. I think Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah. He actually just started a Twitter account to favorite your link.
All right.
So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Did you see Madden commercial?
No. Oh, yeah, I did see that. That looks cool. I used to play Madden in college. Like, we used to, have two big screen TVs, and we just blazed, all day. Like, all I did was blaze and played Madden. And, since those days, I can't get into it like that. I feel like you got to put in major work. I don't have the time. The young kids are too good at the game, so I don't really be playing it anymore.
Yeah,
It looks cool, though. It looks awesome, gotta say.
Yeah, I gave up on that, too. When guys are, making you fumble on a punt return and scoring a touchdown is 28-0 after 15 seconds. It's not fun.
No, I gave up on that a little while ago, and I'll spend my $60 some odd dollars somewhere else.
All right.
Dang, bros.
Anybody got anything to add?
I got nothing.
All right. Well, if it's if that's it, then we will tune out for this week. And
I should have tweeted out to the people we know that like to tune into this. I'll do a better job next time. Try to get some of my buddies on here, communicating, asking some questions. Some of my Twitter buddies, I might add. My real friends don't respect my fantasy craft enough to actually spend their off time coming on and supporting me. They don't want to do that, so I have to be my Twitter homies. They'll come through that.
Twitter homies.
You can try
Twitter
right
homies.
now. You can try right now if you want to get a couple more questions in. We don't have a time limit, but
that's probably.
Hey Andy, are you gonna promote my piece for tomorrow on the why you should love EJ Manuel?
Yes. Once you complete this task,
I promote anything done by the nickel press, except pieces on Bills quarterbacks that are not Tyrod Taylor.
I dig it, man. I dig it. I don't know about in front of Ryan Tannehill. But
yeah, I got a little carried away, but I just look at the web. I'm looking at Percy Harvin. I'm looking at Clay. I'm looking at Watkins, Robert Woods. I'm getting.
Hey, I dig it though, man. This is the thing I think with especially this time of year when people are getting close to drafts. I want people to put it out there, be bold. I don't want copy and paste rankings. You know what I'm saying? You can get there's hundreds of sites for that.
Yeah,
so I dug it, Tehol. I dug it.
I got to tell you, I had a.
You dug it? I'm Doug.
I had a home league draft, an auction draft, and I was targeting Tyrod after seeing your piece. You sent it to me, obviously, Friday night, so I got the early preview of it, and I was all gung-ho to go for him. And I actually had to leave the draft early, and I left it to a guy I shared a team with. And he calls me while I'm on my way out to Jersey to the Flex Cup, and he's telling me, yeah, Tyrod Taylor just went for $7. I let him go. I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, but I got Danny Amendola for 12. I'm like, you're fired. That's it. Get out of here. You're done. And first thing I did was try to offer this guy a trade. I tried to offer him Amendola for Tyrod Taylor. He's got Castle. I think it's a 2-quarterback league. And I think he's got all three.
That's what he's perfect for. Is 2 QBs.
That's awesome.
Well, of course, if he wins the job, but it's a 2-quarterback league. He's perfect.
Well, Tehol, will he get fired from an unpaid position if E.J. Manuel's named the starter?
No, we just delete. We just pretend like I was just kidding. And then, yeah, you should. Oh man, I almost would have flown out. How big was this party? I should have flown out for that shit. Lisa, and I would fly to Switzerland for a day if I got to kick it with her. What's up?
You should have came out.
Let me know next time.
You should have came out. You had a place to stay. We could have hung out too. You should have came out.
Hey, will that video, Andy, make it through the YouTube parental guidance filters?
It was all clean. The camera work was being done by my fiance. It was all clean. It was all PG.
It wasn't like a POV.
Does your fiance work for Brazzers.com?
No, she does not. It was all PG-13. And,
yeah, it was a clean POV video. No worries.
It was all fantasy related.
Oh, I know. Yeah, word.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that video for real. That's cool. That sounds like a good one.
Well, you'll have to check it out.
And the EJ Manuel video and Doug's.
Yes.
And Doug's video on
the Dougie, doing the Dougie.
Yes.
Doing the Dougie.
Oh yeah, here we go.
All right. Well, hopefully next time we're gonna get more questions out of this.
Worst case scenario, I'll just make up some questions.
There you go.
He'll make a fake Twitter account and be like,
Yeah.
Who should I start today? Help me, I need some help. And be like,
well, hey, I'm leaving, boys. It's beer 30. Bye-bye. It's been real.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to sign off too. And, hey, whoever was tuning in, we appreciate you watching, checking us out. Hopefully you got something out of it. And tell your friends and come back next week and ask your questions. Follow everybody on Twitter. Jeff's at the Infirmary Report. Tehol's, of course, at Beddict 143. And for those that don't remember pages, that means I love you. So the 143, that is. Doug Moore, D Moore NFL, and myself, People's Pen. That's going to do it.